back into shape. तो गेम खेलते भाई में हमारी यहाँ पे ऑफ कैमरा कुछ बातें हो रही थी, एकदम से लाइव हो गया हमारा यहाँ पे. मैं एक्चुअली बता रहा था हमारा भाई सिद्धांत who is not on the show today but he's with us in person, not in person but in spirit, and वो हमारे दिल में तो अक्सर रहेगा. जो भी 420 ग्राम देखता है वो भी ये बात मानेगा. पर मेरी बात छोड़ो भाई, क्योंकि आज देखो जी जो स्टार कास्ट है हमारे, आज ये अकेडमी अवार्ड वाली स्टार कास्ट है, ऑस्कर वाली स्टार कास्ट है, फिल्म फेयर वाली स्टार कास्ट है, या आप कुछ भी करो, टीन्स टुडे जहां के भी देखोगे ये स्टार कास्ट है, because we saw a solid lineup of people to talk football. Now if you've been on our channel the last couple of days, and because there's so much happening in Indian football on and off the field, we've been talking about stuff that's happening off the field. But today the focus is primarily on the field. The focus is primarily on that game which will be played on the 3rd of June between India and Qatar, that will be played in Doha. And to talk about it, so I'll start in seniority. First, I'll start by the former India captain, Renedy Singh, who's back on the show. Renedy bhai, it's good to see you as always. Much love to you for all the efforts that you're putting in at Manipur with regards to the fight against COVID. So much love and respect, sir. आपके दिल को हम we're always close to you, sir. आपके दिल की मतलब जितनी कम बात करें, जितनी ज़्यादा बात करें तो कम है. So good to have you, Renedy भाई. पर आज देखो Renedy भाई, अक्सर क्या होता है कि आप आते हो और आपके साथ होते हैं जर्नलिस्ट टाइप, हम ये बक बक करने वाले लोग, लेकिन आज फुटबॉल के बिरादरी के लोग हैं आपके साथ, क्योंकि हमारे साथ है रिचर्ड हुड, who was the head coach of Bengaluru United, someone who's been around Indian football for so long, coach education, and just knows the game inside out, whether it be youth or the senior level game. Richard, good to have you with us, brother. Thank you so much for taking our time and joining us. And also for his maiden appearance on 420 grams, we're joined by former professional footballer, a man who's been around so many clubs, Bengaluru, you name it, Kerala Blasters, there's Mohan Bagan. Darren Caldeira is joining us from Mumbai. Darren, good to have you with us on the show, brother. आपको किसी ना किसी तरह हमने फांसी लिया अंदर, जैसे रेनेडी भाई के साथ हमने लाइफ टाइम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन कर लिया है, तो आपके साथ भी आज से वो किस्सा शुरू हो गया है. But before we start, Darren, much love to you also, yeah, for all the efforts that you're doing in that fight versus COVID and to help people around in this pandemic. So much love to you as well. But the reason we got football people today is because we're only going to talk tactics today, purely tactics. We're going to focus on what that game will be, how that game will be played out. I think everyone has a sense of how it will be played out, purely because the difference in the sides is such that you have to say that one side has to play one brand of football and the other side will play a different brand of football. Renedy bhai, when you look back at the result, the one they played in Qatar, the 0-0, and we've all gone through that video, replays of that video. What was the first thing that you really took out of that game as far as the setup of both the teams was concerned?
If you see the last game, of course, no doubt, result-wise, I think, like I said, always, that one of the best results so far. But if you look at the game, even though we were defending so well, we could have conceded 2 or 3 goals easily in the first half. We were lucky. So now the thing is, on third, how do we want to play? Do we defend that early? Do we do the same? What if we concede in first 15 minutes? What will we do? We still defend, or will we go out and play? Because we are just not ready to go out and play again. So for me, the scary thing is, so how do we want to play? We can't just defend deep from the first half. We just can't. And we will be very lucky. Yeah.
Because if you leave yourself open, Renedy bhai, उन्होंने तो फिर ढूंढना है, फिर कहाँ से गाड़ी घुसेंगे?
That's what we don't have anything. So now if we talk about a beautiful game, so now we can say that, oh yeah, some players have been playing well in ISL, playing a beautiful game. But are we ready to play the game? No, we have tried. We have tried in the last 2 friendlies. In the second game against UAE, we tried. Against Oman, we tried a little bit. But we know that we are not ready yet to play, out from the back, those beautiful football. So for me, I feel we will be defending our life again. There is no other way. But just that, when we defend that early, from the start, it will be very, very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Renedy bhai, the setup from an India perspective, Richard, was 4-5-1, right? 5 in the middle, 4 at the back. And what they had also done was, because, right, Renedy bhai said, you can't keep on defending. You have to put some pressure back on the opposition. So Udanta wasn't given responsibilities to join defense. But Nikhil Pujari, who was playing at that time, was making it as a 5-man defense when they were off the ball. So it was 5-4-1 in that sense. Are you expecting somewhat of a similar? I know different players are there. You've got a much more full strength squad. So you've got a little more going forward because Sunil is there. Would you expect a similar setup or what?
Yeah, something similar because we kept possession for less than 35%, right? So unko ball itna rakne diya. So even the deployment of having somebody like Sunil, how much are we going to maximize? Let's say even 40% possession. If you're going to plan for attack, you might only plan for, let's say, keeping the ball for 35 to 40% of the game, right? तो उसके ऊपर तुम कितना प्लान कर पाओगे? दूसरी बात है, अब्दुल समाद को मिडफील्ड में खिलाया था, अभी प्रणय हलदर आ गया है, तो अगर like what Renedy said, if you're going to defend right from the beginning, we need to deploy players who can do that. तो इतना पोजीशन देने के बावजूद, 5-4-1 खेलने के बावजूद, 9 प्लेयर बॉल के पीछे रखने के बावजूद, we consider 31 shots. 31 attempts at goal देने दिया. तो अगर बोल रहे हैं हम लोग pragmatic खेल रहे हैं, ये सब कर रहे हैं, तो मतलब उसका कुछ end product भी दिखना चाहिए. Score line
realistic खेल रहे हैं ना रिचर्ड? Realistic
नहीं, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर आप पूछो कि हम लोग क्या करेंगे, maybe we do the same plan but with better recruitment of players, guys who can defend harder, guys who can strengthen that plan that worked the last time. अगर वो हिसाब से सोच रहे हैं. But like he said, if we start out with a conservative plan and एक गोल खा दिया पहले 15 मिनट में, is it going to be about controlling the scoreline or are we going to go after chasing the game or find that edge? So उधर थोड़ा disparity आ जाता है. और जो players वो camp में थे that was playing in Qatar, 16 of them are not there now. 1-6. So we are talking double digits. Whereas Qatar team, they played a couple of friendly matches against Ireland, Luxembourg and Azerbaijan. उनके starting 11 में जो हमारे साथ खेला था, 9 out of 11 players are there. 10 out of 11 players are there. तो जो consistency उनकी squad की है, whatever we get to see in terms of continuity, वो लोग तो बहुत कुछ लेके आ रहे हैं. हमारा जो कतार के साथ मैच खेला, अभी ओमान और इसके साथ खेला था, मतलब यूएई के साथ, there are 4 repetitions in the starting 11, out of which one is Gurpreet. तो outfield players देखोगे तो 3 है.
वो तो हैप्पी दिवाली वाला टूर हो गया था ना वो.
हाँ, तो वही बोल रहा हूँ. अगर तो Qatar is definitely not taking the chances with the recent friendlies. They are still playing the best 11 possible. और हम लोग अभी तक समझने आ रहे हैं कि किसको कैसे खिलाएं. अभी crunch time आ गया है. It's difficult to even fathom what the tactics or the composition of the 11 will be. क्योंकि consistency मिला ही नहीं है ना. मतलब players को किस हिसाब से लेके आए हैं camp में, and then how exactly you're going to set up against a championship team like Qatar, where they played Bangladesh a few days after us. Similar tactics. Bangladesh ने भी players को पीछे रखे, but they scored 5 goals against them with 33 shots. So like Renedy said, they were lucky कि ठीक है, it's a low scoring game, of course everybody knows that. लेकिन इतना pragmatic बनने के बावजूद तुम 30 attempts दे रहे हो, तब maybe it's क्या बोले, मतलब it might be.
Okay, I agree, 30 attempts. But Darren, if you see that game, how many times did they really pierce through that 3-man in the middle defense and the 2 in front of them? Like you've actually broken them down. A majority of the shooting was coming from outside. A majority of the ball they were keeping, they were trying to find ways to go inside.
Yeah, but the thing is, I kind of agree with those two. Even after watching the game, I felt like we sat back, and kudos to the entire team. I thought we defended well, but it was along with, I mean, you have to call a spade a spade. I think we got very lucky with the chances they missed. They could have wrapped up the game maybe in the first half itself. But then again, like I watched the game, I even sent a couple of voice notes to some of the players saying like, wow, it's phenomenal performances watching the game again. So hopefully we can repeat that again. But we have to be, we got to be positive, but we got to be realistic at the same time. We've got a lot of players that have changed since then and now. And I think we got to have an approach where we can't afford to just sit back and soak in the pressure, because I don't think we can do that for the entire 90 minutes. So we got to defend well as a team. I think the back four and the midfield as well. But I think our best bet would be maybe on the counters, trying to get a goal off the counters using some pace, or maybe from a set piece. I think we've got some intelligent players in the team, and I think our best bet probably scoring from a free kick or a corner if we can do something of that sort. But like you said, they kind of actually pierced through our midfield very easily, and the defense, it was right around the box. Luckily, every time we had the defender sticking the leg, or it was just bad finishing, poor finishing for that matter. And like the stats here, they don't like 30 shots. I think India had only 2 shots in the entire game, and there was none of them on target. So that is a very, very big difference. Like we see 27, 30 shots compared to 2 shots. So this is that one odd game where you can get lucky and get a point, but any other day it would be a very terrible scoreline. So although we need to be positive and optimistic at the same time, we got to be realistic, like I said. So I think we got to just sit back and defend well. Sit back, I mean, just not sit back and clear it long. I think we need to use some pace up front, like your Dantas and Manvi and things like that. Make them run, work hard, and then we need to push up, because we can't just. I don't think we will not concede if you just.
But Darren, don't you think therein lies the opportunity for Qatar as well? The time when we try to get a little ambitious, move towards their goal.
Yeah.
We're opening up our block. No matter, it might be one guy, two guys, whatever. And sometimes for a team of that quality, you need that little opening to pierce through the team then. Yeah.
The thing is, if you notice, whenever we attacked also, we tried to be ambitious. Like you just said, it's not like we threw a lot of bodies up front. I could barely see around 3 players, max maybe 4. I don't even remember 4, but I would see Sahal a couple of times going up front. Maybe Thapa, Manveer was there. And that's it. We didn't have a lot of players pushing on to attack. It was generally the rest of them stayed back defending. So I think that's again something you got to use. I don't think we can take that chance with sending a lot of players up front to score a goal, because there's obviously a chance on the counter again, back again conceding. So I think we just got to be careful when we attack. And like I said, I think our best bet is maybe a counter attack and somehow squeezing some in, a goal from somewhere, or Sunil Chetri quality from somewhere, or from a set piece. I think the best bet would be a set piece, either a corner or a free kick. That's what I think.
Anyway, it's a dicey situation. Why? I completely agree with all of you. So you're setting up to defend, right? You're setting up and you'll probably look at it like, I'll break it into halves of 15. Pehla 15 minute nikalo, concede nahi karna. Fir ek half aa gaya, 15 minute ka aap nikalo, aapko concede nahi karna. You keep it like that, small targets, and you keep moving on like that. How do you prepare your team? Because then you say, okay, hold the ball when you've won possession. You will win possession. But then do you bang it up, quickly ask pressure again? Or do you try holding it? But then you run the risk of losing the ball because they're physically stronger and technically superior than you. So then how do you do it? Because I saw there were large parts in that game where the ball was being banged up, fine. But there were times when we were trying to hold on to the ball and you keep it for a second or two longer. Unhone aaya, ball liya, catch them, and when the Indian team is broken up. And so they've got, opportunity to move into the Indian goal after.
Arjun, we have to defend, but when a good teams like Richard don't really want to talk about Chelsea or the European big teams. But like when Chelsea was defending yesterday, Chelsea was defending for their life. But when they get the ball, they are so calm. They are quick in counter attack. So now, if you see the first half, Darren was talking about if we get a set piece. But we didn't get any corners in first half. We didn't get any corners in first half. So how do we do that? But we got maybe thrice where we could have counter attack in that match. But now in a high level football, for example, Samad is a lovely guy. When he holds the ball for one more second, the defense is already organized. But are we working on that? So when in India, we still have that. In India, we say that whenever the players do some skillful things, when they dribble the ball, we think that, wow, what a player he is. But now you have to do that for the region. When you are playing against Qatar, when you are getting to counter attack, and if we lose 1 second, it's blocked. Yeah, if you see that first half, thrice. So those kind of moments, if you don't take it, we are not even getting a corner. But this is not only now. This is what we have done the same against Japan when we were playing. So this is not only these guys. I'm not blaming these guys. We have done the same. So now all come back to, do we have that enough technical quality? You are tired of listening to my technical quality. Do we have that? So at the end of the day, we don't. So how do we do that? We defend for our life. But at the same time, when we defend deep also, we shouldn't allow those two stoppers back from Qatar. If you allow them to dictate, we will run side by side, and after in 60-70 minutes we are gone. We are gone, because if we say that, oh yes, everyone has to defend, yes, we all come back and defend, and the strikers and those wingers will move from side to side, you will just allow. So this is my feeling. If we allow those two stoppers to dictate the game because they will be right on our neck.
कौन करेगा रेनेडी भाई? But मनवीर है आपका एक आगे लड़का, वो trouble करेगा.
So now this is what I feel. Now we are talking about tactical. Richard will be thinking something. Darren will be thinking. I feel that we shouldn't allow those two stoppers to dictate. At least you not mark them, but you disturb them. You have to lose two attackers, say a striker, a lone striker, and one more midfielder. If you can close them and disturb. Otherwise, what we do is we all come back and defend. Stopper 5, 4, 1. Right? 5, 4, 1, 1, whatever. So now we just defend, move, we defend, and we cannot do that for 90 minutes. So now if at least we try and defend with 8 players and 2 sacrifice it, at least try and make
you're willing to sacrifice 2 from that puzzle, you're saying.
But you have to. Otherwise, what happens is we just come back. Defenders will not be moving too much, but those attackers, they will be moving. And the moment we get the ball, we don't have any energy to attack.
Yeah.
So these are very difficult things. We may think that it's easy, but if you are playing on a winger, it takes a lot, boss. You have to come up and down, and when you have energy to travel another 50 yards again, or 60 yards again, or 70 yards even. So like Sunil, I think they have done that even when Contestine was there, when they were playing. I think Sunil get a ball in front of our D box. Does he have that much speed and strength to carry on, to run all the way there? No, not really. When you're moving side to side. So this is.
Yeah, but when they were attacking, Richard, see the contrast in sides, right? How they set up, and what Renedy Bhai is saying: 2 stoppers, 3 in front, and 5 on that final line. वो पूरे के पूरे वहाँ पे 5 थे. And which is why I brought it up in the beginning, saying that even when you had those 5 on 5 defenders, it didn't seem like they made too many openings for me, at least. Clear-cut openings. They kept on moving the ball out to Alhedos, जो उनका left का जो captain है, because he was good. He's good on set pieces or whatever. His delivery is good. So I'm guessing they kept on bringing him to the game from outside. But as far as breaking a team from the middle, and I know it's not easy, even if it's the Indian team and there's a difference in quality, numbers are there. Would you not agree that if you just crowd out the middle and be disciplined in the middle, बाहर ठीक है होने जो होना है, discipline in the middle, that is your best bet.
Bet का इतना पता नहीं है. I mean, even if you say we crowd out the middle and then they switched play and they didn't really get service, but you saw them carving us out once the ball went wide and they had support between the centre back and full back. वो जो 3 ऊपर खेल रहे थे, and then you had the other 2 making it.
Yeah, 2 full backs were coming up. Yeah, वहाँ पे.
So once the ball went to the full backs, as long as they were isolated, हमारे 3 defenders जा रहे थे उसको surround करने के लिए. That's where it looked effective. But minute the guy who was playing between centre back and full back, he started going in to combine. The midfielder went in and joined. That's when they carved us open. अगर वो chances भी देखोगे, there were 4 attempts inside the 6-yard box जो उन्होंने miss किया, और Gurpreet had to come out and scramble and pick it up. There were a couple of let's say last ditch tackles also within the box second half में जो हुआ था. And football, I mean, chances ठीक है 30 उसको हटा दो, but even within the box they had double digits chances created. That is your origin of pass, that is where it's coming from, and the person who's coming to finish it. That went to double digits despite this conservative approach. So center को भी block out कर लोगे, nothing's really stopping them from cutting in and shooting top corner. और
तो फिर क्या सर, नमक नींबू मिर्च लगाएं वहाँ पे halfway line के बीच में लटका दे वहाँ पे. यही है मतलब फिर तरीका. Is there no approach?
रेनेडी का जो point था कि जहाँ पे उन लोग का comfort level दे रहे हैं कि 2 center backs को settle होने दो, वो हम लोग ने सबसे पहले गलती कर दी.
Yeah, no one put pressure.
हो गया, पीछे आके फिर change कर रहे हैं. And like he said, can we do that for 90 minutes? ये 4-5-1 90 minutes के लिए तो नहीं होने वाला है. Now Manveer can maybe do it, but with Chhetri coming in, वो कितना कर पाएगा? Just
you think Chhetri will play because the coach gave a statement recently where he's saying he had word with Sunil as well that you're playing 3 games in the space of 10 days. I think that was the thing. And we need to understand that our biggest games are Bangladesh and Afghanistan.
यहाँ पे 6 points मिल सकते हैं.
Yes, मिल सकते हैं. Assume करेंगे हम. So in that sense, we would like a strongest squad for those 2 games. And I remember Renedy Bhai had also touched upon it once that when you play versus a Qatar, Darren, you need to fill that squad up with runners who cover the ground well, right? Who don't give space at all to the opposition, who don't break your puzzle.
So, I mean, this is again a big decision for Steve Marsh. He has to make this one. I personally feel Singh should be playing only because I think he's one of those players who can produce something out of nothing. Like from just somewhere like a 30-yard strike or something of that sort. I don't think we have any other players who can do that. But then again, like you said, we need runners and we don't want to risk him for the remaining game. So that's another a risk Schematic has got to take. But I feel, yeah, I don't feel we can press for entire 90 minutes. We've got a lot of young players in and we, a lot of runners there. But again, like, trying to press the centre backs and it is going to be hard. Maybe we can do that in spaces. Sometimes I'm sure Richard and Renedy know that, sometimes coaches give you instructions for the first 5 minutes to do that, to make sure they don't settle down. So do it for the first 5 minutes and see how it works. And if you can maybe capitalize on mistake, get a goal, and then maybe you can switch to, I won't say sitting back and defending, but maybe pressing from the halfway line or something of that sort. So we could try the pressing bit for the first 10 minutes, for example, just make sure they don't settle in because, they're such a dominant team. And if you let them settle down and pass the ball and move around, they'll just keep doing it for fun all day. So,
but Darren, if they score in the first 10, then it's a tennis match kind of score.
No, like I said, so that is one of those risks you want to take, right? You either sit back and maybe defend from the halfway line or from your own half, or you try it for the first 10 minutes. Try to keep maybe the defenders and a midfielder or two, like, sitting back defending, but the rest, I won't say the rest, all of them pressing, but at least a couple of attacking players pressing and trying to see if they can capitalize on that press. But yeah, it is a risk you take, but it's something you could try maybe for the first 10 minutes maybe, and then switch back to defending.
I actually like Renedy Bhai's idea of, don't give those two stopper backs space. I don't get it. I mean, if you're going to lose, what difference does a 2-0 or a 5-0 or a 6-0 make, to be honest? I know mentally you're playing 3 games in the space of 12 days, so possibly it might stick with you, and हमारे जैसे भोंपू type लोग उसको बढ़ा चढ़ा के फिर उसके बारे में बातचीत करेंगे, Renedy Bhai. But if you've tried something ambitious, you've tried, you tried thwarting their plans, rather than saying कि आओ जी आपको जो करना है करो. That seems like a good way to at least go out, even if it doesn't work and you lose whatever the scoreline might be.
See now, brother, we need to have a philosophy. We really need to have a philosophy even now. But then, whatever you said, आपने जो बोला, fans are not going to take it.
Renedy Bhai, आप fan का how कितना
yeah,
fan
I
का?
do agree. But I do agree. And the same thing, coach. If you are a coach and if you're earning a good amount of money, and then he will be thinking about the result. He will not be thinking about the game actually. So now I was listening to Alex Ferguson ka recent interview where he talks about Howie, Bournemouth coach, and about the coach who have just got relegated, the team Fulham, Scott Parker, yeah. He have got relegated, but then Alex Ferguson still highly talk about them because they don't change the philosophy. They don't change. So now, if we say if we play to our philosophy in a practice match, we lose 5-0, but we coaches know that we are playing to our ideas. Even if we lose 5-0, in another 5 years, 6 years down the line, we will be playing that football. But today, the match we are going to play on 3rd, we have played against UAE, the same, defending. Me, Jules, I still remember we won the game in Qatar Stadium 1-0, and I'm still thinking, after the 90 minutes, kitna ball touch kiya? Bhai, maine 6 ball touch kiya hoga, but we won by 1 goal. And then we went to UAE, the World Cup team. We went to UAE. Baichung got red card in first 45 minutes and 40 minutes. Second half, we were playing in 10 men. We lost 1-0. But I know that how we were defending for life. But have we changed the style of game from then on to now? No, we are going to play the same. We are going to play the same on 3rd. So now where is our philosophy? So now we fans and the official, we all should be able to have to support the philosophy, even if you lose, yes, right. But the scary part is if you see the game, even in the Asia, the gap was not that much. But now I'm sure you must have heard about the result against Myanmar, 10-0. You must have heard about the Indonesia, 8-9-0. So the gap is going big, which is not a good sign actually. So coming back to the way we want to play, we haven't changed yet. So now it's all coming back to our philosophy. Do we really stick or support to the idea that in a longer run? But if we keep playing about the result that India जीतना चाहिए, ISL में ये कर दिया, अभी इसमें भी करना चाहिए, I doubt we can.
Richard, if we're in agreement, Sorry, Dan. Sorry.
No, like Renedy bhai just said about the philosophy. That's something I agree with. Like, but I think like we are talking about, we mentioned Chelsea and things like that. I'm sorry, Richard, I'm bringing a European team. But like he said, like we speak about Pep Guardiola, right? Pep Guardiola, the kind of football he brings in, but it's also because the kind of players you have, right? Like, I mean, maybe Steve March also has a certain kind of style and things he wants to play, but you can't play. You have to play with the kind of players you have. So I'm sure they want to do this whole passing out from the back, and they try to do it in instances. I've seen the national team players. It happens in the ISL at least. You can see a lot of the Indian players doing that, playing out from the back. It happens comfortably. It looks really good, and people wonder why it's not being the same sort of thing being transformed into an international game, because that's when you see the kind of quality opposition they're playing against. But like you said, I'm sure Steve Nash wants to do that, but I don't think we can afford to do that against a team like Qatar again.
So would you do the two? Would you sacrifice two guys from the puzzle to trouble the two stopper backs? At least that much.
I would. Yeah,
but you do it in patches. You'd say 5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Like I mean, you can start off the first 5 or 10 minutes trying to do that. You can't only have two players pressing. That's also a thing. Like if you press as a team. That's what everyone says. So you have a striker pressing, but then if the midfielder behind is just not pressing the other midfielder, so the defender of the opposition will just pass it to him, right? So you got to like sacrifice not just two players, it'll be around 4 or 5 players at least if you want to just keep it compact. So that's a risk they got to take, but I think maybe it's something that could be done for the first 5 or 10 minutes and see how it goes. But then we got to make sure we don't concede, most importantly, because if we concede, I think it's going to be difficult after that.
Yeah, Arjun, my point was, by disturbing them, by not allowing them, is not on their own half or on the box, but when they come up to our neck, when they come up past the center line, and they're just standing, and if they dictate, we will die.
Yeah.
If we allow them to dictate them. My pressing doesn't mean they're high, not high pressing, but we can see that in the first half, 20, 30, 40 minutes, the defenders were right on top, on just before our box, and which is not right. We will die. And coming back to Darren also, that now I know that Stimag, he wanted to play out from the back. He wanted to play a beautiful game. Yes, but my point was like, Sila, under 20 years we are playing the same game, So there is something wrong in our structure, right? That means something wrong in our structure. Do we have? I've been watching the Indian team also, who playing in I-League. Are they playing the football which we really want? When they in 2 years or 3 years, will they come and help the Indian team playing a different style of game?
Because even what you mentioned now, if you look at the stats in AFC under 16, World Cup under 17, उधर भी हम लोग 20-30% की possession रखे थे.
Really?
India, against Indonesia, against Iran, against Vietnam. I think Vietnam we dominated possession, but against Korea.
पर हम हुआ तो ये फैलाया कि एज ग्रुप टीम पे तो हम थोड़ा खेलते हैं फुटबॉल. जब सीनियर में अंडर 19 से ऊपर आते हैं तो फिर थोड़ा
नहीं कर रहे तो ऊपर आके क्या करेंगे भाई?
Arjun, Richard will know stats के बारे में. No one will know better than stats के बारे में India का, because he was there in AFF himself and he knows, right? So I'm telling you, it's our future. Of course, yes, we are not just blaming. I'm telling you, we have played the same game. I'm not just अपना ही player भाई लोग को, I'm talking bad about them. No, but what is our future for 10 years? All those young players, are they really playing? So it's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah, please, Richard, please go on. I'm sorry.
तो वही बोल रहा था, अगर even the next generation of players coming through, उनसे भी हम लोग की उम्मीद नहीं रख सकते हैं, क्योंकि that loss against Korea, it was 27% possession or something, and same thing defending at the bottom. And कितने बार हम लोग ने देखा है कि हमारे goalkeepers को man of the match मिलता है. So that tells you more than one story, right? I mean, we might be producing goalkeepers who deliver the goods when they're called upon. लेकिन कितने बार ये देखा है, जब भी धीरज ने अंडर 17 वर्ल्ड कप में खेला, उसको 2 मैचेस में एक्नॉलेजमेंट तो मिला कि ठीक है, दिस इज अपकमिंग गोलकीपर. अभी धीरज को एएफसी चैंपियंस लीग में मिला. गुरप्रीत हमेशा लाइमलाइट में आते रहता है. तो अगर एक गेम में तुमको 30 अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिल रहे हैं सेव वेव करने की, तो
पुरानी कहानी है. तो पुरानी कहानी इंडियन फुटबॉल.
मैं बोल रहा हूं अंडर 16 से शुरू हो रहा है भाई. अंडर 16 से शुरू हो रहा है ये. दैट इज आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2 इयर्स अगो, अंडर 19 एएफसी चैंपियनशिप. उधर भी हम लोग ने गोलकीपर को बहुत लाइमलाइट दिया ना. तो मैं सिर्फ बोल रहा हूँ कि अगले 10 साल भी एक्सपेक्ट मत करो कि कुछ बदलने वाला है. बिकॉज इवन स्टीव मैच इन दैट लिंक दैट यू शेयर्ड, ही मेंशन्ड ओवर दैट वी वांट टू प्ले अ पोजेशन स्टाइल, कंप्लीट मोर passes and things, but we don't know when we'll do it. So this was a pre-match before Qatar wala comment. तो उसमें तो कर नहीं पाए ना. तो ये जो हम लोग बोलते जा रहे हैं प्लेइंग आउट फ्रॉम द बैक, वी डिड दैट अगेंस्ट अफगानिस्तान बिकॉज इट डिडंट प्रेस अस, तो वी हैड लॉट ऑफ पासेस कंप्लीटेड इन आवर ओन हाफ. तो जहाँ पे डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं है तो पासेस हम लोग दिन भर खेल पाएंगे भाई. लेकिन कर रहे हैं क्या पोजीशन के साथ, ये सब भी थोड़ा देखना है. मतलब इट्स वेरी गुड टू बी एस्थेटिक्स के पीछे भागना एंड गेट अ कोच हु कैन मे बी डिमांड दैट. लेकिन नेशनल टीम इज रिजल्ट्स ना, मतलब उसके आगे पीछे और कुछ है भी नहीं.
That is true.
स्पेशली इन अ प्रोग्रेशन स्टेज, ग्रुप राउंड 2 टू राउंड 3 जाना है तो रिजल्ट्स तो आने पड़ेंगे.
तो हाँ, उसकी भी अलग कहानी चल रही है कोच साहब की. वी ऑलरेडी डन एपिसोड ऑन दैट. यू नो दैट इज अ डिफरेंट सीन, बट यू आर राइट. International football, senior level football is all results, right? Then comes philosophy and all of that, and बाद में जो भी आपको देखना होगा वो बात की बात है. If you're not getting results, तो सर यहाँ तो बात पहुँचती भी नहीं है फिर आपकी वहाँ पे. But so I think we're all in agreement that around about 4-5-1 or 5-4-1, they're going to be setting up without the ball, right? Now, what I saw in that game in Qatar was that Udanta was given with Manveer that if we have to break, we're breaking down the right flank because we have a guy with speed. And Manveer will, of course, help him alongside. There were two of them, max to max, who generally breaking, और एक फिर पीछे से आता था जब भी आता था आना होगा. Now, Darren, the point is, Udanta has not been playing regular ISL football. For the quality that Udanta possesses, which is speed, regularity and playing regular 90 minutes is a must. It just doesn't pop up like that, right? I'm not saying he's lost it completely, but if he's not played football for a while, at least we can expect from all the football we've seen in the past that it might not be there, or it might take him time to get into that groove again. Then who do you give those duties to?
Yeah, this is actually a conversation I had yesterday also with someone, and after looking back at the game, like I watched Udanta play and I thought he had a really, really good game, a lot of energy. But this was a while back this game happened, and we haven't unfortunately seen that sort of Udanta in the last last 2 seasons. It's been not a one-off game where he's been poor. He's been consistently not up to the mark, and it's a big decision for Steamart to play him. I personally feel if I was a coach, I don't think I would start him. I don't think he warrants a place at the moment because he hasn't done enough at club level. There were a lot of questions also asked that he got included into the squad, but then that's a different thing altogether. But I don't know, a lot of people may disagree, but I think Brandon should start for me, maybe. He's not.
Who gives you speed? Who gives you speed then, Darren?
No, yeah, exactly. So I thought Brandon should start, but I had Bipin on the left for me. I feel Bipin should be starting, so I thought Bipin could be an outlet, maybe. Use him on the wings, and Manveer was up top again. So I thought my formation was a little more defensive, not as attacking. There's no Sahal in it, so I thought a little more bite in midfield, try to keep it simple and just defend well and get something off a counter or a set piece. But again, we mentioned you don't get a lot of set pieces, but it could be like a free kick maybe and try to get something from there. But for me, I think Bipin should be an outlet, Manveer should be an outlet, and I have Sunil also in there, but Sunil's not got the pace. But at least someone who can maybe hold the ball, try to win a foul, and maybe everyone pushes up then. But yeah, like I don't know if you guys agree, but I don't think Udanta warrants a starting 11 place at the moment. It would be harsh on everyone else. For me, I think Brandon, at least what I noticed in the AFC now is he started working a little harder defensively. I didn't see that in the ISL with him. He never really does it. But in the AFC Champions League, we started seeing him working a little more hard defensively. Again, it's going to be one of those, it's tricky again to play him because you need somebody who's going to run up and down. And he's not really that player, but he's somebody who can at least pass and move around. But I still would go with Brandon at the moment for me on the right.
Quality on the ball. Also, you're saying your only outlet, if you're saying is to a goal, then you'd want your best set piece specialist to be taking that, and that is Brandon, so that the delivery of the ball is good. And you have at least something to trouble the opposition's goal.
Okay. Darren wants Brandon on the wing.
No, in the middle. So on the wing, you're saying?
He's on the wing, but not somebody who will like just stay on the wing like an out-and-out winger. Obviously, something is going to like move inside. But then again, we're playing Qatar. I understand it's one of those teams who are also clever, but I still feel we need somebody who can keep the ball also. We need somebody who can hold on to the ball. I don't think we have enough of players who can take charge, take responsibility, receive the ball and try to keep it in and move it around. Or play maybe a clever pass again to someone.
On this point also, it was Renedy said earlier, agar Indian players ko ball mil jata hai, many times they didn't press the guy on the ball, but they went and organized behind.
Yeah.
away from the ball. So whatever outlet we're looking at in terms of speed or technical quality, one is they organize away from the ball quicker than we can think of the next pass. And the second thing is, by the time you think of the next pass, the players put under pressure. ये 3-4 बार तो हुआ कि जब भी whatever little possession we enjoyed, we didn't really get too much out of it, despite those options being open, because they read through it and organized around it way quicker than we could react and do something with possession. So उसका भी अगर Brandon हो या जो भी हो.
No, but I kind of get Darren's point in the sense, if you have a Brandon there, then you possibly have a 5% better chance of making a touch more, of getting a touch more.
So 5% or 35%?
No, I'm just saying in terms of if you put someone else there who's probably not as established technically as Brandon, I think we're all in agreement that Brandon is possibly one of the technically superior players in this Indian squad. So if Brandon is there and you're in a position where you have pressure, so at least you would expect Brandon can at least move that ball to one person next to him. उसके बाद क्या होगा वो देखी जाएगी. At least then you have that one outlet of him moving that ball rather than losing the ball there and then.
Yeah. If we talk about the players, I feel on the wings I would rather go with Manbir and Dipin. I think both of them has been doing, even in ISL, even the last match against Oman, I think both of them did well. When we don't have the ball, especially when we have the ball, they could do more. That will always be there. But those two guys can run. And to bring Sunil in this team, like Darren says, Sunil is someone who is really important. Yes, he's 35, 36. You're trying to save, but then at least start with him. Look, if it doesn't work, you have Pandya who have played about 4 games or 3 games, who can run up front. Just try that. Start with Sunil. And on the left, I'm a little confused, but I like Akash. Akash, of course, yes, he's little rusty. Yes, not too many games that he have played in international level. But and Sana and Sandesh. And on the right side, people may think I'm crazy, but I will still pull Suresh Wangjam on the right back. Because I feel yes. I feel he's much stronger than Pritam, much stronger. Even though
aerially उसको वो पकड़ेंगे नहीं वहाँ पे Renedy भाई, वो उसको target करेंगे फिर.
1v1. I'm not going to make too much of difference. I feel that even though Qatar has been playing well for ATK, but I would still go for, because that guy can defend, that guy can play in the middle, that guy can play. He has already played few matches when they were young, and he was young on the side also. So I would put him there, and Martins and Bozes, and on top of that,
Martins को आप debut करा दोगे कतर के खिलाफ Renedy भाई?
Brother, this is where we are not like Richard said. अभी हम लोग का first 11 है. अभी आपको कौन first 11 है? हम लोग का are they ready? अब आपको कौन first 11 है? So I
defensive midfielders हैं आपके.
But I'm going. Yes, it takes time. It takes time to gel. I understand that. We may put the best 11, but it takes time. But this day is a day where you just have to defend. And Martins did that in the Asian in the recent matches. I think he did really, really well. So seeing that, I feel Martins and Borges sitting, holding, and on top of that, Brandon, who has got, like you said, who has got a technical, he's the one who can. But I would rather not put Brandon on the side, because because as I have played on the side for 12 years, and I know that so much of run and work we have to do that day. We will need few more players on those wings, especially, but they are the one who will be running the most.
Interesting.
I'm glad you said Glenn Martins, Renedy, because even yesterday you and me have a very similar 11, apart from 1 or 2 players. So when I went for Glenn Martins, and I was asked the same question: how come Glenn? He's never played, and this is going to be his debut match. It's against Qatar, such a big game. But if you actually look at the AFC Champions League, and he's also been playing regularly till the AFC Champions League, and he was probably one of the best players on the pitch, if not. For FC Goa, definitely, but even one of the best on the pitch.
But with the side, Darren, that he's training regularly week in, week out. The difference being here.
The thing is, he's got a bit of bite in him, and you need that, especially in midfield. Yeah, this trickery and things like that won't work. And Sahal is somebody with a lot of quality, but I don't think that's going to work against a side like Qatar. You need somebody who's going to put in that leg, put in those tackles, really disturb and break play, and you need a player like Glenn Martins there. And I feel like he's not going to offer too much offensively. He's got a great shot on him, but you need somebody who's going to break play. And Rowland can be that 1% sometimes, making that one odd run into the offensive half, but that's it. But I feel Glenn Martins is going to keep the midfield very, very secure. And he definitely, for me, he has to start, I feel.
अर्जुन भाई
हाँ जी भाई
बॉल तो बहुत कम पकड़ेगा मेरा भाई आप टेक्निकल स्किल save them for all these great players of Yasir right Yasir all these good players you can save them for अगर आप लोगों ने देखा है अभी again I'm talking about this आप लोग ने हम लोग last time when we talked they played the best football best result playing draw against the Asian champion side उसका 10 दिन के बाद I think 10 और 15 दिन के बाद we played Bangladesh but Bangladesh के बाद हम लोग का जितना that was a difficult match Bangladesh was much more difficult match than Qatar if you look at it we didn't do anything we were they shut the door we didn't do anything so this is a time that you have all these good players give them a chance and to prove them
Renedy भाई मैं okay before I get into Renedy भाई सर यहाँ पे इंडियन फुटबॉल आइडल चल रहा है ग्लैन मार्टिन्स को 2 हाँ हो गए फ्रॉम डैरन एंड रेनेडी तीसरा हाँ अगर आप कर दोगे तो 11 में आ गए ग्लैन
रिचर्ड का देखते हैं रिचर्ड
हाँ वही इंडियन फुटबॉल आइडल
अगर लास्ट टाइम अगर विंगर को एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि बैक फाइव बनाने के लिए rather than that you get Glenn Martins to tuck in centrally and make it at least
make it 5 more easily because this is I totally agree
वरना कोई मरेगा नहीं ना उधर भागते वो जो 70 yards
so this is a very good point Arjun we always हम लोग को ऊपर भी जाना है और साइड बैक भी बनना है भाई मर जाता है तो instead of doing that side back को नहीं बुलाने के लिए easiest thing is Glenn Martin pull it right inside he will travel 10 yards 15 yards 10 yards pull it let the winger stay a little up so that this is a very good point and I totally agree with this please
no that's true. I wanted Brandon in the team was because I would also have Glenn so I felt like even if Brandon doesn't decide to make one of those runs behind and defend I feel like Glenn gives that extra protection and he's somebody who should be there also Sahal, I'm a massive Sahal fan, but the thing is he also got injured towards the end of the season, hasn't played after that. Only got fit very recently, but hasn't played any 90-minute games. So that's another reason why maybe he may not be even match fit. And Glenn has been playing consistently till the end. So Glenn should be getting...
My only, it's may sound pretty obvious, is that all of you have been a part of team setups. All of you have now seen it from the outside, your running teams and all of that, so on. I'm putting it in your ball, in your court. You're playing your toughest opponent. You have this kid. I'm not doubting Glenn's quality. I love Glenn Martin. Even I really loved the way that boy was playing, the way he was, there's a confidence with he was playing and he knew his role.
Okay. Is he in your 11 though?
No, he's not in my 11. He's not in my 11. I am the Annu Malik of Indian football idol क्योंकि मैं किसी और से आग लगवाऊंगा. पर ये है कि वो लड़का जब आपके टीम के अंदर खेला ही नहीं है, वो लड़का ने सिर्फ 7 दिन आपके टीम के साथ उसने ट्रेनिंग किया है या 6 दिन जो भी किया और वो भी 1 सेशन उसने क्वारंटीन में आपकी टीम के साथ सेशन लगाया है. You're willing to put a punt on that boy versus your toughest opponent.
But then who's the next most experienced player?
राहुलन है, प्रणॉय हल्दर है.
हाँ तो मतलब प्रणॉय हल्दर भी काफी टाइम से तो नहीं था ना.
But at least he's been a part of your Indian setup. That's my point is that.
एक साथ तो नहीं खेला है ना.
वो जो डायनामिक हम लोग देख रहे हैं फ्रॉम कैंप टू कैंप भी देखेंगे कंटिन्यूटी तो है भी नहीं मतलब
पहला ही मेंशन कर दिया रिचर्ड ने अगर कैंप टू कैंप अगर देख रहा है और उसके बाद आपने अगर देखा होगा बिपिन प्लेड हिज फर्स्ट मैच ऑफ इंडियन टीम अब उसका परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द बॉल कैसा लगा इंडियन के हिसाब से
he was good sir I really liked Bipin Singh
first match right
Oman you're talking about. Oman you're talking.
Yeah.
Oman.
So Glenn Martin has played more than Bipin at the international match.
But you'd agree Qatar and Oman is different, Renedy bhai. Qatar competition game.
भाई almost एक ही रहेगा, कोई difference नहीं होगा. अभी आप मेरा ख्याल से this is what I feel. अभी रिचर्ड को कौन अभी प्लेयर में देख सुनना चाहता हूँ.
मैं किसी ने बोला नहीं अभी प्रेशर आ रहा है पेन लेके लिख रहा हूँ इधर.
My thing is Glenn Martin has to start for me Glenn Martin has to start. In case even if there was a whole discussion of if not Glenn, then who? For me, I would put Suresh there only because he is somebody again who can do that work and keep running around putting those tackles. But for me, Glenn should start because he's surprised us all, to be honest. Even after he made that move from ATK Mohun Bagan, to Goa, he suddenly just started off straight away on the front foot. Again, with the Champions League, was outstanding in all those games. And I think he's somebody. The coach also had a lot of good things to say about him. And I feel like I have a feeling he will start today. I don't know. I think like maybe he will start. I think he should start. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, see quality. I don't think anyone is going to argue about his quality. Quality in that role where he can disrupt, and also quality in how quickly he releases the ball. वो बेफजूल का अपने ऊपर pressure भी नहीं लेता. He knows he has a very clean pass and so on and so forth. So all that is there. My only thing was, how do you gel with the squad in a game where your shape is utmost importance. After that, everything comes into play.
But I think even what he did for Goa as well will be very similar to what he'll be expected to do for the national team now.
But you're training with Goa non-stop, na, Richard?
नहीं, but I'm saying अगर dynamic बोल रहे हो shape का कि ball खो गया तुम इधर आके आ जाओ. I mean, Renedy has been part of multiple national team camps. अगर 10-12 दिन ही मिलते हैं, अभी इनके 10 दिन हो गए, उतना तो set हो जाता है. Ball जब है, ball जब नहीं है, इधर जाना है, ये करना है, इधर इसको help करना है, ये gap आ गया, उसको भर दो, जगह मिल गया, उधर चले जाओ. मतलब those little basics are understood and it won't be too different from इधर तो उसको पूरा extraordinary तो कुछ करने नहीं बोलने वाले हैं. Like you said, ball मिलने के बाद भी एकदम simple. He's not going to try anything that he hasn't done before. And then these things he's already proven that can gel in well playing off the back four and then coming back to help them. Plus with that physicality and then recent performances. So I think
Sir, आग लगा दी ग्लैन ने. Glenn has been given the entry from my side also. 3 versus 1 हो गया. There's no point arguing.
Would you guys take Pranay? See, for me, like if I were coach, I wouldn't want to start Pranay only because he's somebody who is capable of taking a card anytime, and he could take a yellow card, for example, in the first 5 minutes, and then you don't want to play a defensive midfielder taking a yellow card.
It's not that often, Darren. I think those things stick in your head.
But he has done it at a lot of crucial times where it actually has come back to like kind of, I'm not talking about the red cards only, but even yellow cards.
But if you're talking about what Arjun had said right in the beginning, अगर central block बना के रखना है, बिल्कुल impenetrable बनना है, तो बीच में किसी you can't expect anybody to have those outright attacking qualities. So back four plus Glenn Martin.
कौन है आपका? ठीक है सर, इंडियन आइडल फेवरेट ग्लेन मार्टिन आ गए. उसके साथ कौन है आपके वहाँ पे रिचर्ड? उनके साथ कौन दे रहे हैं साथ में?
रॉलिन खेलेगा ना.
एंड 3 मैन मिडिल होगा ना आपका. 3 मैन मिडिल
तीसरा भी डिफेंसिव प्रोफाइल में डाल दो. मतलब अगर बोल रहे हो कि 2 ही ऊपर छोड़ना है और विथ में ही जानने वाले हो,
सो नो थापा, नो सुरेश को डालो बिकॉज़ ही प्लेज विद द बॉल एटलीस्ट. या रेनेडी भाई तो सुरेश को पीछे डाल रहे हैं, फुल बैक.
हां, एक कलेक्टिव 11 बनाएंगे ना. अभी एक-एक का बोलेंगे, फायदा क्या है? तो एक
डिप्लोमेटिक
11 बनाएंगे.
रेनेडी भाई आपके साथ कौन है? उसको साथ दे रहा है फिर ग्लेन का?
No, Borges बोल दिया ना. Borges and Glenn together. ऊपर में Brandon.
In that triangle basically. Yeah.
In the triangle. I want someone who at least can get the ball, can do something with the ball.
And if someone is breaking, at least he has the quality to reach that guy.
Yeah. And this is what I feel. And अभी बोल रहा था कि we are talking about Glenn के बारे में जेल होगा कि नहीं होगा. And I totally agree with Richard. कम तो हम लोग को इतना कम मिलता है. And difficult thing is Qatar we have no pressure, honestly. India has no pressure. If in football, without the ball organization, I think this is the easiest way to learn. Without the ball organization, how do we defend? I think when someone is defending deep, like what India is going to do, and to open that is the toughest thing. This is what I feel. So now Glenn is not. We are not asking Glenn to do that, right? So इसमें ये जो defending part है, I think he has been doing like Darren and Richard has said that. So he will do exactly the same. ज़्यादा कुछ difference करना नहीं है. But the only thing is when we start asking, when we have the ball to break those defense, वैसा तो करने वाला नहीं है. So we will have a lot of space, and it's all about how to do without the ball.
पर हमारे इंडियन फुटबॉल आइडल्स में तीनों जजेस ने अभी तक आशिक कुरुनियन का नाम नहीं लिया है सर. जो एक लड़का ऐसा लगता है कि बॉडी पे बॉल रह सकता है, who looks comfortable in international football, वो एक लड़का है सर.
For me, he's very good. Ashik Kuruniwan, I think, not on the wing. I don't like him on the left wing. I like him on the left side back, what he was doing for Bengaluru. But again, has he played that many games after he got injured? So now, again, at the same time, I chose Akash, which is also a little bit rusty, but I like that boy. I like the way he has played in ISL, but he has not get enough games. But I'll still put it because that guy has got, even Kuruniwan the same. Yeah. So now, and he has got speed. Only thing is he's a little clumsy. That will be he's a little clumsy that way. Otherwise, that guy has got speed.
Darren, would you agree with Renedy Bhai's 3 in the middle? Put Darren in the triangle of 3 with Clan and Rowlin. And if that is the case, we're assuming then Renedy Bhai, Sunil is your lone man up front. Manveer is on the right. And then who's on the left?
Bipin on the left.
Bipin. Darren, would you change it a bit?
Mine was just kind of similar, just changing it around a bit. I had Sunil actually playing on top of the center midfielders. And I had Brandon on the right with Manveer up top, but the 2 center midfielders stay the same for me. So yeah, and I also go with Akash. I also think Akash should be playing. I'm also a big fan of Ashik, but I think he's not a defender, and we need defenders basically because that's going to be the most important job for them. So and Ashik is great going up front. He's again one of those players. He's strong and fast, but he's not a very good defender. And yeah, he can get clumsy at times, and you don't want to give free kicks in dangerous positions. You don't want to give away a penalty also. So for me, Akash also would start ahead of Ashik. And what do you think, Richard?
I was just thinking the previous point where you mentioned should Chhetri be playing at all or not.
Good. Sir, valid question though. Valid question.
Yeah. For me,
Ashik ko bhi khilana to abhi khila do.
I would start Chhetri, but yeah, that's my thing. I think we require that bit of quality. Just I think maybe he's somebody who can produce that. See how it goes at least the first half, and then take a call after that.
I agree with Darren also. And Sunil is not going to spoil even if he's 30. It doesn't mean Sunil has to play 90 minutes. No. So Sunil ko aage khilakar, Sunil can still run. Sunil, because he did that with Bangalore recently also. When he was playing on the left against East Bengal, he was not. But when he played on a lone striker, I always like Sunil to be playing a top striker, which he did. So agar usko 30-40 minutes ke liye use bhi karega, that will help him. That will help so he's not going to spoil that much. Sunil is also, he can do the workload, maybe not for 90 minutes. But then after that, I would rather come with Pandya. After that, when Sunil is not working, but what Richard feels in.
हाँ जी Richard.
नहीं मैं वही बोल रहा था अगर आशिक को भी खिलाना है, this is the best time to maybe field him. If there are so many doubts about who occupies the left back position, क्योंकि अगर injury नहीं होता,
भी तो है, शुभशीष
तो है, मतलब that obviously, I'm just talking about if you're just saying अगर आशिक का वो injury नहीं होता, just the last performance that he has been consistent in that place.
Yeah.
He can outright defend or not that deep in the pitch, but he'll have enough backup also. क्योंकि हम लोग deep defending तो कर रही हैं, तो even if they beat Ashik, there'll be 2 more players for the winger to beat. Nobody's going to get an easy pathway through. And if you look at the records from Qatar on crosses as well, Gurpreet ne to aerially dominate kiya tha. So I think rather than confronting these wingers and stuff on the wide areas, better that we invite the crosses to come in and
I kind of agree with you on that.
Work off that rather than
so that at least your beach mein your fulcrum is strong.
और physical presence भी much better है इस बार. मतलब अगर Glenn Martins भी आ गया और Borges भी है, Jingan है, centrally इन लोग ने हमें इतना disturb तो नहीं किया था. अगर if you base it on the last game, that is.
Yeah.
A good Glenn Martins fan club going on here. I like it.
No, he's already been given the business class ticket to Mumbai. He's coming for the elimination round.
Maybe
Indian football.
Couple of games down the line, we'll be talking about him wearing a captain's armband also.
No, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't give too much pressure on him. Also, of course, yes, he's a good player, but he is a player for the future. At least on that role, I feel. Oh yes, he may not have the best game. Come on, we are playing with Asian champions. He may not have the best game, but he will not play that bad. Also, I feel because we can't be asking too much when he have the ball. He need to defend really. The control the defensive area. What he did. If he can do exactly what he did for Goa, that will be good enough.
Perfect. Guys, we're coming close to an hour. Renedy bhai, आपने 5:30 का बोला था, so I'll start wrapping it up now. But how I'll wrap it up is, and I'll do it from a Qatar perspective, right? the way India is going to set up. You know that they're going to crowd their half, even half of their half, if that is what we've seen in the last game at least. How would you set up versus a team like this? And where would you think of breaking them from? Anyone can start. Anybody, if you had to think over
now
such
let Richard start from, and then Darren, and after that I will. Because I've been taking others. People will be thinking, "Ye sala bakra hai."
Richard, how would you break a team like that? Say you were in the Qatar camp and you've seen your video of the 90 that's played out in Qatar. And I don't think they would get too perplexed with that result or the way that game played. But if you had to really try something specific, what would you think of doing beyond individual talent and skill?
I think you're talking from Qatar perspective, na? वो लोग क्या करेंगे?
Yeah, because whenever you're in the camp, you try to analyze, okay, वो क्या करना चाहेगा, ताकि you can be ready for that as well.
I think they'll be a lot more patient at least. वो पिछले game में there were 4-5 unnecessary attempts from outside the box. So in those terms, I think that is something that they'll look to cut out altogether. I think they'll reduce their dependence on crosses. They will look to combine a lot more inside the box. तो वो जो half space जो हम लोग बात करते रहते हैं center back और full back के बीच में, वो तो 3 के 3 थे ही. But I think they'll deploy more players to complete those round of passes. तो अगर अपना full back ले लो, the inside forward on the right and left, and your closest midfielder, minute ball goes there, minute they started playing 1 and 2 touch passes in and around the box, they were a lot more successful. That's why they were cutting past us and things. So I think one is reduced number of chances by being a bit more patient to complete the attack. Second thing is not rely so much on crosses, and then more emphasis on combinations in and around the box. ये तीन चीज तो हमें देखने मिलेंगे. And I don't think they'll change too much on the defensive side. They will still leave 2 at the top to cope with any sort of a counter score. I don't think that sort of pace also, even Udanta at his best didn't really disturb them, or Manveer at his quickest didn't really, because you're talking about elite Asian level now. तो वो speed तो एक ही रहेगी, मतलब वो कुछ outstanding नहीं रहता उनके लिए. तो they don't really feel the threat with that, and again I think they will hit us a lot more. And जैसे Darren ने पहले बोला था, if we try and press them, they will punish us for leaving any sort of space at the back. Back के पीछे 10 यार्ड भी दे दिया तो ये लोग एडवांटेज उठा लेंगे. So we have to defend deep. मतलब we can't win the physical game against them when it comes to foot race and things. उसमें बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा.
Coach Darren, would you do something different or same?
No, I completely agree with the patience bit, because you could see a lot of times they kept passing the ball. I felt like they got into the first half, they must have been frustrated. I think that's why they were kind of annoyed that they weren't in the lead, which is why they started, certain moves. You could see like there were shots from certain areas where they should have probably kept the ball and tried maybe a 1-2 or, just some combination play of that matter. I think we just need to be a little more patient, like Richard said. Yeah, that I feel if they play the way they played against India the last time, they try to do it again, they probably get a goal early and then it will be a completely different game. But they just need to keep doing what they're doing. I don't think they're going to, like Richard said, I don't see them changing. They don't really need to change anything, right? You don't try to fix something that's not broken. So they need to set up the same way, continue the same style of play, and they'll be hoping to get a goal earlier this time, so they don't have to try to do anything overtly different. So yeah, just keep patience, keep moving the ball, and keep it simple.
और एक point जो था, Arjun, you said they weren't too flustered. They were more pissed off than any other team in all the groups. ये result की वजह से. तो ये नहीं है कि it didn't affect them all that much कि उन लोग ने lightly लिया.
But bhai, you know what? We had a Qatari journalist a couple of days back on the show, and so we asked him what was, India में तो हमने ऐसे ढिंढोरे पीटे कि जिससे मतलब हमने दिवाली, दशहरा, न्यू ईयर सब कुछ एक साथ कर लिया है. But he said वहाँ पे the repercussions were not that huge.
नहीं, but internally तो रहेगा ना.
No, as in he said from whatever you understood, he was saying it was okay, no problem. And which is why at the beginning of when I was starting this, I felt that they weren't too perplexed and thus they won't change too much. कि अब इंडिया आ रहा है, अब क्या करें,
नहीं वो नहीं रहेगा, लेकिन खुन्नस तो रहेगा थोड़ा कि
even I agree. They can't not be disappointed, more like annoyed or frustrated with that result. I'm sure they must have been, because they must have before the game.
गुस्सा तो बांग्लादेश के ऊपर निकाला ना 5-0 हरा के.
Yeah, they must have been thinking about 3 points and also maybe bettering the goal difference. They must have been thinking of that, and then to not get a goal at all, not score at all, they must have 100% been pissed off. So they'll want to come back with some sort of vengeance here and score a couple of goals.
Perfect. Renedy bhai, 5:32 on
Yeah.
the dot.
Yeah.
Last comment, sir. How would you prepare for a team like this?
So now, whatever
From a
we
Qatari
wake up-
perspective.
Yeah, on Qatari perspective, yes. Whatever we may say, like India ko ye karna hai, wo karna, India should have done. But at the same time, when you play 0-0 against India, that is a big insult for them also. So now, and then to break down this defending, deep defense, it's not easy at all. But then they will just do like Darren and Richard said, they will just do exactly the same. But if they can play quicker, if they can move our midfielders and defenders and attackers, if they move side to side, we will surely get tired. They have to just move and they try and mix it up. Long, short. It's not only short. And because, of course, yes, like Richard said, they will allow, Indians were allowing to play on the side. We will still allow on the side. They will not allow us to go through the middle. But if they can be patient enough to build up quickly, that's what. And they had some hasty shots, and which they shouldn't do it. But just keep on playing and move the ball around. They will surely get the breaks. And we were lucky not to concede 3 goals in first half. And all they have to think is first goal. First goal will open up everything. This is what they have to. And now as a coach, we will feel bad. If I was a Qatari coach, I will feel bad. But going back again, but then those 3 chances they have missed, they are not going to miss again. So if they do the works again, so yeah, they will exactly do the same, but a little more quicker and patient enough.
Perfect, gentlemen. I think because we don't have Siddhant Annie to digress us on the show, we've been on the dot. Sir, Renedy bhai, you'll be aap gawao. 60 minutes, 4:33 start, 4:33, 5:33 finish.
But Richard, but it was really nice, huh? Today, 1 hour, Richard and Darren. But Richard is also working really hard. But is training on or not, Richard?
बंद है भाई, 1 महीने से बंद है.
But I heard recently that the most organized team, one of the goalkeeper have given a comment. He have never seen such an organized club for
Bengaluru United
in the second tier. Yeah. So I heard from other players, from the training, from the stay and everything. It's really nice to hear. And you don't get to hear from the players though.
I'm WhatsApping you. I'm WhatsApping you a couple of clips of me hitting the bar, huh, Richard? So you can call me whenever you want.
बाद में बात कर लेंगे.
Sorted.
Guys,
once again, just before we leave, Darren, Renedy, and Richard, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show. This was, of course, our tactical preview for Qatar. There are 2 more games. And I'm guessing that's going to be a lot more interesting because there we are the aggressors. There we are the guys who have something to take towards the goal. Those are games versus Bangladesh and Afghanistan. So if you guys have time, Richard, Renedy bhai, and Darren, I'll get in touch again before those games, and hopefully we can make this a regular feature and not just talking shit like what we generally do on 420 grams. Guys like you come and you validate the show so we can talk proper football, and that is what this discussion was about. I hope you guys enjoyed watching our show today. Thank you so much for that. Renedy bhai, Darren, Richard, once again, thank you so much for your time, and this was another episode of 420.